Okay, let's make it real. Let's actually get some real code and some real data and actually analyze the average number of friends by age in our fabricated data set here and see what we come up with. All right, so let's make this real. Let's actually run the script to find the average number of friends by age here. So at this point, you should go to the resources for this lecture if you haven't already and download two things. One is the friends by age Python script, and the other is the fakefriends.csv file, which is my randomly generated data that's completely fictitious, but useful for illustration. So go take care of that now. When you're done, move it into your C Spark course folder, or wherever you're installing stuff for this course, and come back when you're done. All right, so at this point in the course, your Spark course folder should look like this, and specifically we need friendsbyage.py and fakefriends.csv here. So let's double click on the friendsbyage.py script, and nthought canopy or your Python environment of choice should come up. And here we have it. So let's just review again what's going on here. So we start off with the usual boilerplate stuff. We import what we need from PySpark for Spark, and we set up a Spark context object that's just going to run locally on our own computer here on one process, and we're going to call it friendsbyage. All right. So first thing we do is pretty typical. We call text file on the Spark context to parse our input data, our fakefriends.csv file. And if you do have that in some other folder, make sure you modify that here first. And we will use that and put it into our lines RDD. And then we call our map function parse lines to transform our input data one line at a time into a new key value RDD. And again, what it's doing is splitting up the source data by the commas that are in it, extracting the age and number of friends from each line and casting them as integer values so we can perform arithmetic on them later, and returning key value pairs where the key is the age and the value is the number of friends seen for this individual. So at this point we have a new RDD that contains key value pairs of ages and number of friends for each person in our data set. Next we get to that big long scary line that does a bunch of stuff at once, and get used to this because you see a lot of this in Spark where people kind of chain operations together like this. I just want you to get used to it. But just break it down one thing at a time, left to right. Figure out what's going on. For the first thing we're doing is this map values call. And again, map values leaves the keys untouched, so our keys, which are ages, will still remain, and only the values, which are the numbers of friends, get passed into our function here. So x in this case in our lambda function is the number of friends for each individual in our RDD. And we're going to transform that into these compound objects, these tuples of number of friends and the value 1, so we can add those all up together later. So again, at the end of this, we have a new RDD under the hood where the key is still the ages, but the values are now these compound values of number of friends and the number 1. And then we need to aggregate everything together for each age. So reduce by key does that. It will gather all the values found for each age, which is our key value, and combine them together using the function that we provide. So again, x and y are two things that we're trying to add together for a given, or combine together for a given key, for a given age, and we're just saying by this function all I want to do is add up each component. So take the first element of each value and add them together, and take the second element of each value and add them together. So what we end up with is a new RDD where the key is still the age because we're not messing with the keys, but the values are the total number of friends seen for each age and the total number of times that age was encountered. And with that, we have everything we need in the totals by age RDD to compute the averages. So our final transformation will take each value, we're going to call map values. So again, our value at this point is a tuple, a composite value of total number of friends and total number of times that age was encountered, and it just divides those two values to get our average number, and that's our final result. So finally we call the collect action on the resulting RDD, averages by age, and we just print them out. So let's see if it works. Let's go up to the tools menu here and go to Canopy command prompt, or however you like to get to your command prompt, and we'll type in spark-submit friends by age.py, and off it goes. We'll get the usual warnings that we see whenever we run something locally. Safe to ignore, and we should quickly get a result. There we have it. So, this is all random data. There's really no meaning behind it that you can try to glean, but just through random luck of the draw, it turns out that 63-year-olds are pretty popular with 384 friends on average. So there you have it, our average number of friends by age script illustrating the use of key value RDDs and also the concept of storing more complex lists of information or composite values or tuples, whatever you want to call it, within the information that we're passing around. So both very important concepts. Feel free to play around with this script, make it do something different, experiment, get your hands dirty. It's the best way to learn. All right, let's move on. All right, that's a second example now. Some real hands-on code there of using Spark on your own desktop. Got some real results there, and we've covered the concept of using key value pairs in RDDs and some of the special things you can do when you have key value pair data in an RDD. Very important concept. So let's move on to our next examples.